Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about traceability and for Dynamics 365 supply chain management. I want to present our main presenter for today, Ben Luo, who is a principal product manager on the SCM team and responsible for the traceability add-in. My name is Jesper Livbjerg. I'm a principal solution architect with the FastTrack team. So today we're going through a short introduction around what is traceability, why do we do it, a little context about how it fits into the business, and then Ben will essentially walk us through the entirety of the functionality of the traceability functionality and integration. So, and then we will end with a roadmap and recommendations and a list of resources that is available. And then we will have plenty of time at the end for some Q&A. And we would like to take Q&A through the Q&A functionality in Teams and take them at the end of the session, if that makes sense. So when we're talking about traceability functionality, what we're talking about is essentially fundamentally it is the ability to track a project journey end to end, from raw materials through manufacturing and distribution, all the way to the customer and through customer service. It basically answers some very simple questions for the business. It answers the questions about where did this come from, where did it go, and what happened along the way. The traceability tool, as such, is made for us in the product, in the SCM product, because in many organizations, all of this information already exists. It's very often fragmented across individuals, systems, spreadsheets, and sometimes it even lives with suppliers or partners. And sometimes it's very tough to actually find that information should it be needed. The traceability app brings all of this information together so it's accurate, connected, and accessible right at your hand when you need it. So, and why is this important? It's important, for example, from a compliance perspective. For regulated industries, traceability enables accurate audit reporting, regulatory responses, and instant access to quality and safety information and recall for recall purposes, for example. Operationally, it supports root cause analysis at a fast pace. When an issue occurs, we can very quickly identify what are the affected batches or lots, understand where these components were used, where they came from, and then see exactly where they ended up and who we need to go to and talk to in our supplier side of the business in order to figure out how to avoid this from happening in the first place. This is of course also targeting specifically. I mentioned recalls. By making very targeted recalls possible, by having super accurate information around what happened and what went into what and and where did it go, we can limit action to only real affected units, reducing costs and risk in recall situations. For many organizations, a recall automatically means that we scrap the production for that whole shift, that whole day, or that whole production line, because there's no good way or safe way in order to disseminate where did the problem actually happen and how much is affected. This transcends beyond risk management. It also builds trust and transparency for your customers, and it allows you to pinpoint and react quickly when suppliers are having problems with quality. And this, again, strengthens customer confidence and can become a competitive advantage. Ultimately, it is the foundation for reliability, efficiency, sustainability, and resilience and it enables business models that were not possible before because of the complexity of gathering this information with verified data and transparency. Yeah, just to really quick, just talk about what traceability is all about. We track when we talk about traceability in the value chain. We're basically tracking two sets of or two pieces of information. We're tracking genealogy events, which you see here is the blue color. That allows us to essentially build a complete picture of what went into a specific component. The other one is the custody event. This is essentially answering the question, what happened along the way through our value chain, and who did it in our organization, and who delivered it, and where did it end up. So the genealogy tree, if you will push that up, Ben, click, sorry, there we go. The traceability functionality allows us to basically build that genealogy tree where we can see what went into it. That in order to build that, we capture genealogy events. That could be, for example, achieved with a scan when we report things finished, the consumption that we do, and in order to be able to build this tree, we need unique identifiers on the components that we're building out of. That could be a serial number, for example, or a batch number. These identities are used to link the digital model that we have of the system to physical objects in our real-world manufacturing or distribution line. In this example, we see a final product with a surface that is basically a Surface tablet with the bundle that's built from at its top level with basically a tablet, a Type 1 cover, and a pen. The other kind of events that we're tracking is custody events, and that basically is collected from all SCM modules, and that allows us to see the activity events that you can see in the middle of the screen, basically who did it, what happened to it, when did it happen, and in which context did it happen. That's basically what the data we're collecting with the traceability functionality. Now, we've had item tracing in the product for a while, and I think it's important to highlight the differences between the traceability tool that we're talking about now, traceability app as we're talking about now, and the item tracing that has been there in the past. So item tracing basically did tracing by linking things by default. So we were offering basic tracing without a structured genealogy, and that meant that we often actually captured way too much information. A classic example is if a specific manufacturing organization has an ethanol tank, it's not common to clear that out on a regular basis, and that means essentially there is a trace of every single batch that you have put into that tank for a year, and because of that, that will show up as a part of what went into my product at the end until you basically clean the tank out, empty it, and then start over, right? And that doesn't happen at regular intervals with certain chemicals and certain components that we deal with. With the traceability tool, we are tracing things that are specifically linked. So things are explicitly linked at the points where we capture the genealogy events, and that means that we are tracking a lot less information. We do have much less redundant information, and that makes it a lot easier to capture, to basically regain the information once it's captured. Finally, some differences in the technology behind it. The traceability tool uses managed data lake for long-term storage, and so we don't fill up the database with redundant traceability information. We offer rich integration for external system integration, so that we can actually capture both genealogy and custody events from other systems, for example, an MES system that you may be working with, or a QMS system that you may be working with along the way. We're also adding attribute search feature that is not available with the current item tracing. And with that, I'm going to pass the word to Ben. Ben, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Jesper. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ben, and I'm the product manager for this traceability service. So next, I will show a set of demo from the onboarding and also the integration and also some kind of customization of the traceability. Okay. So first, I want to introduce the BOM of the demo first. So in our demo, we will introduce first two raw material. It can be the comp04 dash batch and the comp05 dash batch. That's the very end raw material, and both of them are managed by the batch number. Then both two will be used to produce a semi-finished good. It's called like the SFG-02-batch. So this is also managed by batch number. Then we can consume the SFG-02 batch with another component 03-serial. So this is a component managed by the serial number. So we will use these two component to build the final finished good called the FG-01-batch. So this is just an example for the BOM of the demo. So it's not. It can be used for both discrete manufacturing or process manufacturing. Okay. Then now let's go start from onboarding the traceability. So first, how we can install the traceability. So here's some kind of step. So first, we need to activate the traceability in our feature management of FNO. Then we also need to register the application in Azure portal to get the tenant ID and application ID, which then will be used in the installation of traceability in the Power Platform Admin Center. So let's go to the demo. Okay. So first, in FNO, we should start from go to the feature management. Then in feature management, we can do the search of the traceability. So because it's still in the public preview, so you can type preview and traceability. Then you can find this feature, just enable it. Okay. So once this is done, then we go to the Azure portal to register application to get the application ID and the tenant ID. So then we go to the Power Platform Admin Center, then find the supply chain traceability here. Yes. Then just click next. Then here we will get a screen. It will ask you to input the application ID and the tenant ID. So you can find these two values from the Azure portal, which you just apply the a registered application. You just input these two value, then click install. Then the installation will be started. So you can see it's here. Okay, so it will take a while for the installation. So just so we come back to the FNO. So once you turn on the feature, you can see this tag is added. So once the installation is done, so you can go to find the detail version here, and then click this icon. It will bring you to the traceability. So first you need to input the credential. Then this is the screen of the traceability. Then it will ask you to input the credential again. Okay. So once the installation is done, so you can go to this menu for verification. So you can see here are 5 activity. It has been turned on already. So this activity is for the demo data. So once you can see that it is ready, then you can go to our genealogy tree, type in the bike S001 to get our demo data. So this is a demo for the traceability, and use that you can do some kind of quick start. So click the activity for the final finished good, a bike. At the last, you can see here's like a bunch of the activity information. So once you see this screen, which means the installation is done. Okay, then next we will start from the integration steps. So first, let's do it for the purchase goods receipt integration. Then the only configuration we need to do is to activate the purchase goods receipt in traceability. So let's start. Okay, so first, let's go to the traceability. Okay, so first we go to the activity menu, and you see here's an activity called purchase goods receipt. This is the predefined activity for the out-of-box integration between traceability and FNO. So make sure the trace flag has been turned on. Okay, that's the only thing we need to do. Then now we go back to FNO. So start to create a purchase order. So remember we have the component called the CMP04 batch. We will use that as an example. So here we input the vendor account, just 1001. Then put the item number, comp04 batch. Okay, and the site, warehouse, quantity. Okay, because for traceability, we must have a track identity. So it can be a serial number or batch number. So here it is a batch number. So we do the registration to assign the batch number to it. So you can maintain it as like the batch number auto generation or do it manually. So here we just create the batch number manually for demo purpose. Okay, so we created this 636 as the batch number and assign it here. The confirm registration. Then we back to the purchase order, then apply the standard routine, like do the confirm. Then after confirmation, then we can do the product receipt. So in this product receipt, we just input the product receipt number, then click OK. So this will trigger the goods receipt to traceability. Because this is a demo, so we just cut the process time. So usually for your production environment, it will cost another 30 minutes. So once it's done, we just input the batch number of the comp04. Then here, you can get this node because it's just for purchase. So you just get one node. And then here in the detail, we can get the document reference and the quantity and also the order information and also vendor account and the vendor name. Okay, so let's continue. So first, we have done the purchase of the raw material. Then next step is we need to consume it to do the manufacturing steps. So to enable the manufacturing integration, so we need to do some kind of configuration. First, we need to make sure the production picking list and also the production report as finished as activity is enabled in traceability. And in FNO, we also make sure the track component is enabled. Then we need to create a track the component policy and assign it to the track the product, like the finished product and the raw material. So let's start. So first, we also go to the feature management of FNO. Then to verify the track the component feature has been turned on, so you can just type the track. So for now, the track component has enabled by default. And also we suggest you to enable this enhanced user experience for track component management. So this will give you a better user experience. Then once these two features turn on, then we go to inventory management, inventory and warehouse management parameter, go to bill of material, enable the track component. Then we go to number sequence to make sure here's a number sequence assigned to the product component match ID, because this will be used to link the finished good and the component. Once that is done, then we go to product control to create the tracked component policy. So it's under here. So for that demo purpose, we just create a simple one and make sure the user track component is turned on. Then once this is being configured, then we just go to the product information management to assign the tracked component policy to finished good and raw material. So here we assign it first to the raw material, like the comp 04 batch, just under the managed inventory. So this policy is only affected for the manufacturing integration. It will not affect the purchase integration or sales integration. So if you don't configure this policy for the material, raw material or finished good, it will not be integrated to traceability for manufacturing. Okay, so once that configuration is done, then we back to traceability. Then here, under the activity menu, you can see here's multiple activity, predefined activity called the product report finish, picking list, partial reserve and reverse, and also partial ref, partial reverse, and full reverse. So just turn them on. Okay, so that's all the configuration we need to do. Then, okay, now let's start the manufacturing. So first, we create a production order called the SFG02 batch. So it's for the warehouse. And here we assign the batch number to this production order, just for a quick demo. Because once we have the track the component function, we support the capability. We enable the capability to to support the production order, not just have one batch, also can support it with multiple batch. Okay. So here for demo purpose, we just input a single batch here. So we assign this batch number to this semi-finished good. So it's like 658. Then we assign the quantity to 10. Then here we can check the BOM. So this BOM tell us that to produce the SFG02, each SFG02 we will consume 2 comp 04 and 2 comp 05. Then we just create it. Okay. Then once this order is created, then we just also apply the standard routine. So first do the estimate with the default setup, then do the schedule, schedule the job also with default setup, then release the production order. Yes. Then once this is done, we just copy the production order. So we have two ways for the integration. So first, we were using the production floor execution way. So here you can access this one, just like you are the operator of the shop floor. Then open this screen for the mass, then input the production order you are going to produce. Then start the job with the quantity. Then you can find it under the active jobs. Then here, you can click the track the component. So here, because we only have one single batch, so it's already here, then we can just jump to the component and select the first component of 04 we need to produce. So here you can scan or input the batch number. So it will, by using this function, it can help us to track the real consumption in the shop floor. It's not just like the estimation or forecasting consumption like that, or not backflashing. So here we can see the association for the real batch we use for the manufacturing. Then once this association is done, we just do the report progress. So input the quantity, then complete this operation. Then once this is done, so here's a transaction at backend will be posted to traceability. So now here also in order, we can check the association from tracked component to verify the same batch number is there. And also in the journal list, for the picking journal list, we also can see the correct batch, the real consumption batch as used for the manufacturing. Okay, then once the transaction is arrived at traceability, just type in the batch number of the finished good. So it's like the semi-finished good. Then in the view activity, we can get the picking list event. So it tells us, okay, this time then we consume the 2 batch of the component. And also you can see in the genealogy tree, we have 2 nodes as attached to it. Then next, we will create another production order for the final finished good for the FG01 batch. Then in this demo, we will just using the general list creation steps to give you a clear and a more deep dig of the logic of the integration. So here also we create one batch number for the finished good. Okay, then for the quantity, we just produce 2. And also check the BOM so we can see that each FG01 will consume 2 semi-finished good 02 and 1 serialized component 03. So since we will produce 2, so we will consume 2 serialized component. So once the order is created, then we just get in and also do the routine. First is also the estimate. Then is do the schedule. Then we release the order. Okay, now we will just start. Just to give a more detailed view, so we will turn off the flushing principle and also turn off the picking list. So we just click OK. Then we go to create the journal just manually. So here we can create first is the picking list journal. Because the integration from FNO to traceability is also triggered by the journal creation. So here we create for 10, number 10, then quantity is 2. Then here you can need to input the product component match ID. So tell us which finished good we will produce. And this is the key to link the finished good and the component. Then here for the SFG02, we just input the batch number we just produced. Then for the comp 03, because it will be like 2 serial number. So here we need to split it into 2 lines. And each line will have a unique serial number. So here you can just put the real serial number it is consumed. So here we just put like 16. Then also add another one. Then we can assign like the 17 to it. You can just assign the real number there. And make sure the product component ID has been assigned. So here, the product component ID is represented the batch number for the finished good. Okay, so here we forget the warehouse number. So after input it, then we can save it and do the validate. So, okay, everything's fine. Then we can post it. Okay, so here the journal is created, and also here you can see here's a table, temporary internal table. We call it SCT tracing activity. So here you can see the transaction to traceability is generated and inserted in this table. So this is, you can treat it as like a queue. So once the message is accepted by traceability, it will be clear there. Then next, let's create a report as finished journal. So here we just create a new journal and report as finished journal. Yeah. Then here we just input the new line and with the good quantity. So we put it 2. Because we already maintain the batch number, so here in the dimension, you can see the batch number there already. Yeah, here. So it's also follow the rule that for all the integration to traceability, we must have a dimension, a tracked ID. So here we use the batch number. So click OK and post it. Then here in this table, you can see the new transaction for the report finished good finished is there. The previous picking list has been deleted because it has been sent to the Power Platform. So once it's sent to Power Platform, it also will be cleaned there. Then in Power Platform, the tracing partition event table, group table, then you can see the messages queued there. So for your production environment, it will be waiting for 30 minutes. So once it's done, it will be cleaned. So once it's cleaned, then you can go to the genealogy trace and input the batch number or the finished good. So here's the FG01 batch. Then you can see here there are 3 nodes attached to it, and for the SFG02, it also heritage the composition from the previous production order. Then in FG here we got 2 activity. First is the picking list. So we got the quantity and the batch number and the serial number, which is consumed for this production. And then also in the report finished, we also can get the document journal number and order number, and also the batch and the quantity, and also we have the site warehouse. All of them are data collection. So here you can see we have the FG01 batch as the final finished good, and also SFG, we heritage the 2 components. Then we just click the comp04 batch, then we can see this comp04 has been consumed by 2 batch of the semi-finished good. So this is also we call where user search. Then you can just also click the view detail. Then we can find this 45 and 58, and also there has the picking list consumption and the report and the finished good. And also we can get their corresponding production order number. Then for 45, it's like 290, then when another is 291. And also beside the graphical view, we also have this table view to show the genealogy information. So that can be exported for a report purpose. Okay, then here, as we see there's 2 consumption for the SFG, then we just check this 45, then we can find that this is not used by any parent. So our next example demo is we plan to reverse it. So this order number is 290. So now we go to production order, which has been manufactured previously. So now because we think, okay, this one is not consumed and it can be disassembled, so we just go to the order using the simple, the easiest way to reset status for the disassemble for the full reverse. Actually, we'll also support the partial reverse, so you can just create the reverse journal for partial reverse. So once we set the status, you can see 2 reverse, full reverse transaction generated for reported finished and picking list. Okay, then once the message is transferred to Power Platform, then we just wait until it's gone. So okay, once it's done, we're back to traceability. So also check this 45 batch. So you can see the 2 node has been removed. And also here we got another 2 activity called the reported finished full reverse, and also the full reverse for picking list, like they disassemble the component and return them back to the inventory stock. And also in graphic view in genealogy tree, we also disassemble the component after it. But meanwhile, we also keep the previous assemble history there. Then we check the comp04 batch again. Then now we can see it is only consumed by the simple by a single batch for the 55, and this one is used by the finished good. Okay. Okay, so once we done the manufacturing, so next step is we need to sell the product we just produced. So to enable the integration between sales and the traceability, we also need to activate the activity in traceability for sales goods issue, just as same as a purchase integration. So here we go to activity. And you can see at the end, here's a sales goods issue. So you can see here, it's called sales goods issue without space. So this is a predefined activity for FNO integration and traceability. And above, like sales space goods issue, is for demo data. Okay. So now here we create a sales order. Then click new. Then we just input one customer account. So it's like US 001. Okay. Then the item we are going to sell is the FG01 batch. Since we produce two, we will just sell one to this customer. Then the quantity is one. Then also we need to specify the product dimension. So the batch number is the one we just produced. Then site warehouse, okay. Okay. Then also just take a look about the delivery address and also the customer account information, because all those will be post integrated to traceability. Then we just do the post packing slip. Okay. So here we also show to show the dimensional batch number just for verification purpose. So we can see the batch number is there. Okay. So this also meet the requirement for the integration. Then we just click OK to post it. So once it's done, so temporarily this will be inserted to the SCT tracing activity queue. Then in the production transaction, we can get the information. Then once it's received by the Power Platform, then it will be cleaned in another queue. Then we can see it in Genealogy trace. So here we just input the batch number we just produced for FG01 batch. Then view activity. Then we can see after the report finished good, we can see one new activity called the sales goods issue. So here, yeah, this is the one. And also we have the detail, like a sale to which customer and what's the delivery address, what's the customer name, and what's the document reference, the packing slip, and also what's the sales order number, and also the site, warehouse location, data collection. Okay. Okay, so previously we showed the process like from buy the raw material to manufacturing, consumption, then to sell the finished good. So this is give us a full end-to-end cycle for the integration of the business. Then next, I will introduce some function which will help you in find the tracking information. So first, I will introduce a new function called the find the items. So there's no extra configuration will be used. Okay. So the find the items, which give us the capability to find the batch number or serial number according to the activity or data collection. Because sometimes in the real produce business, here's a lot of transaction coming in. You will have no idea which batch number or serial number used. So here we just using the sales goods issue activity as an example. So then we go to the data collection. So this is the third object we just introduced previously. So we can search like the customer account. Okay, so this one. So you can see this account, the data collection is assigned to the sales goods issue. Okay, so this tell us the linkage between the data collection and also the activity. Now let's just go back to the find item. So suppose we just want to search all the batch number or serial number for the FG01 batch. It has been sold during a time period. So I just put like the January, okay? And first we just search against the activity. So we said search against the sales goods issue. So it will tell us all the serial number and the batch number for the FG01 batch. It has been sold during this time period. So it gives us 3 batch number. It has been sold during this period, okay? Then, so this can help us to generate the recall list. And also, then next, we can do the search against the data collection. For example, you want to see, I want to find out all the batch which has been sold for specific customer during a time zone, not all. So here we can just click the data collection and select the customer account. Then here I just put the US001. So I want to search all the batch of the FG01 batch has been sold to this customer. Then I see, okay, now I have this only one batch. This is one that exists in the previous 3. So then what's the difference? Why this has 1, another has 3? Because the previous 3 has sold to different customer. So we can do another search to verify, like we just search picking the previous configuration and change the customer number to US002 and search again. Then it will give us another number, a batch number. It's also including the previous 3 one. So which means first for the activity search, it will tell us all the batch number is sold to different customer. Then for data collection, it can give us the search result against the more detailed specific dimension. Okay, now next we will talking about the configuration for the API integration, because so for this API integration, we will support the OAuth 2.0 configuration, and also we were using a query API for testing the demo purpose. So here, just like what we have shown. So first, traceability support the out-of-box integration between D365 and traceability. So we will extract the transaction to traceability, and we will log those transactions and enable the function like forward and backward search, and log the custody activity, and also integrate it with different module. So beside this out-of-box integration, we also enable the integration by the public API. So you can use this one to integrate with your external or legacy system, like your own MES system or your own TMS or own OMS. So how to enable it? So first, we have, so here you can see we have how to guide the document, because this is still in preview. So we have a more detailed and a step-in-step guide for to introduce, guide you how to use it. So in this how to guide, you can go to the section called 9.2. Integration by API. Okay, then here it will give you the tell you how to do the authentication. So here in this demo, we will use the Insomnia as the tool for demo purpose, and also you can click the link to the help link to tell you how to do the configuration and get some kind of detail of the configuration. But also we will show it here. Then in the next part, you can see the parameter and the key will be used for the token generation. So we will use the implicit grant type and also have the authorization URL. And the client ID is used in is generated in the Azure portal. Then you can configure those things in Insomnia. Then it will generate the token according to those configuration. Now let's go to our system then to show you how to do it. So first, we can configure the environment parameter. So here we defined the multiple variables. So first is the URL. So this is your traceability URL, or we call it like F&O environment URL. Then hard-coded version to 9.0. And the web API URL will be used to build the API. And the authentication URL is used to generate the token for this for our own environment. Then here, client ID, I use a public client ID for demo purpose, but you should use your own client ID. Then you can configure those variables. So first, we use the OAuth 2.0. Grant type is implicit. Then put the auth URL, client ID, and redirect URL ID here. Then also for response type, it's access token. And here we can just clear it, then click fetch, then you can get this token. So this token will be used for the API integration. Then next, in the next part, we will give you the API list we support. So for now, we we are just using the query tracing for demo purpose. So later also we will release the event post. So by that you can create the information and event in traceability. So here we also give you the detail of the request payload and also the field explanation. So for of the payload request. So for example, like the tracing direction, we have two value like the backward, forward. So it can give you different information. And also like if we should include event or not or others. Then here is the response field explanation. So you can see there's a lot of node here. So later we can just combine it with our demo. So once we generated this token, then we go to call the API. So here, this is the payload. We just showing the how-to guide. So we set the tracing direction from forward to backward. So it will tell us, give us the search like from the finished good to the component. So here, the finished good item is FG01 batch, the one we just produced and used, and also the batch number. Because serial number is it's not serialized, so we keep serial number as empty. Then we click send. And here we can get the response from traceability. So because it's API, so it's like the technical view. So here you can see because we're not including event, so it will tell us, okay, the finished good batch is the 732. It is made by the SFG02 and also two comp03 serialized component like the 16 and 17. Okay, so if we go to detail bottom, also we can see the composition of the SFG02. Okay, then we change the including event to true and post again. So it will give us more information. So not just the genealogy information, it can also give us the activity like the consumption transaction information, like at which time, what's the detail and the location we consume the SFG02 for this FG01 batch. Then for all the node explanation, you can find it here in the how-to guide. So this can also help you for your API integration purpose. Okay, then besides the API integration, so for some customers, they said, okay, we are still using the FNO. And also we said we will do our integration with other module one by one. So for now, we enable an integration with purchase, manufacturing, and also sales. So in our plan, also we will do the integration with quality management and also TMS, EAM. So once that is not ready, or for those customers who want to integrate with their own activity, or with their own customization, so you can use this part. So what we should do is we need to configure the activity, your own activity, and your own data collection. So let's take a look how to do it. So for example, we want to do the shipment integration. So first, we just create your activity code. It's called the shipment confirmation, and we can assign it to the transportation activity type. Okay, then we just make it available for USMF company. Okay, then we just add it. So this is your own activity code. Then we save it. Then you see only when you see this success message, then it is saved. So then in the top, you can see the activity you created by yourself. Okay. Then the activity configuration is done. Then we go to the data collection. Just for example, you want to track another 2 dimension. So for example, like the TLC, the traceability lot code. Okay, then you just put the TLC as the collection ID. So we put this like the text. Then we assign this to the activity we just created. So the transportation. Because we want to make it enable for all the companies, so we put the asterisk and we click save. Then we can search the data collection field we just created. So now it's off, so we activate it, then save it to make sure it can it works. Then beside the TLC, then we can create another data collection field. Okay, now so just for verification purpose, so it's activated. Then we add another data collection field, like the shipment ID. Okay, then also description and also the data collection ID. Then also put its type as like the text, and also assign it to the activity we just created, and also assign it for all company. Yes, then we save it. Then we can see it's here. Then also we activate it, turn it on, and save it. Okay, so for verification, so we just type it, search it. So it's turned on. Okay, so this configuration is done. Then we will use this table, the SCT tracing activity table, the one I just mentioned. You treat it like a message queue. So all the message is inserted here. It will be retrieved by Power Platform and then input into another queue called tracing partition event groups. Then once it is processed here, then it will go to traceability. Then we just create the customized payload with the activity code we just created, and the activity time, and the activity ID. Make sure the activity type is same as what we have configured, so it's transportation. So here for the consumption transaction, because we are not for the manufacturing, we don't have the do not consume any components, so we keep it empty. Then here the data collection field is for the data collection at the inventory head. So you can see we put the two data collection we just created for the shipment ID and the TLC, just like what we configured there. Then put the value there. So it's easy. Then for the production transaction, so it will tell the traceability where we should assign this activity. So also we reuse the FG01 batch, which we just produced, so 732, and assign the quantity like, okay, we just ship one quantity after sales. So because we do the sales goods sales order, then now this is the shipment after sales. Therefore, the item is FG01 batch. Okay. Then that we just put the reference ID, like the shipment ID, and also the data area is the legal entity USMF. Okay, so once this is done, we just copy it. So for your customization, you can just create the same transaction format and insert it into this table. Here we just need to correct the data time. Okay. Then also checking everything is correct. So for data collection, it's in the right field, and also the legal entity and also the production transaction. So make sure everything is correct, then we click save. So this is once the transaction insert this table, then it will be processed by backend, and once it's received to Power Platform, it will be cleaned here. Then you can see it is inserted into the Power Platform data verse table. So once it's being processed, it will also be cleaned. Then you can search it in traceability. So for example, we put a USMF, find the batch number against the TCL, the data collection we just created. Okay. Then we just search it. Then it will tell us, okay, the batch number we just we used for this activity. Then also we can go to the genealogy trace, then input this batch number to get some detail. So then we click the view activity. Then in the activity detail, okay, because the time reason, so we increase the time search range. So you can see here's a shipment confirmation after sales. And this is your customized activity and also the information you just integrated to traceability with the same the quantity. Okay, and also here, because once there's a lot of activity here, we also give the capability to filter out those activity you don't want to see or you want to see. Okay. Okay. Then the next function is we call it like the monitor error failed integration queue. So for F&O integration to traceability, sometimes because you can see it will go to multiple queue and be processed. Then if it's failed, how can we know what's the reason and how can we save it? So we introduce this function. Okay. So this function name called failed transaction queue. So it's only monitor the failed integration from D365 to traceability. So for API integration, it's not there because once the API is failed, you will see it in the first time. So we make an example here. We just change the data collection name to a bad one. So this one is not configured in our traceability. So change the ship ID underscore bad, okay? Then keep others as same as previous. Then we just copy it. Then also using the customization way, then we just put it into this queue. Just verify the data collection field is the bad one. We save it. Then also it will be retrieved by retrieved to the Power Platform. But difference is, if we found that this kind of validation has failed, you don't need to wait for 30 minutes. It will be inserted into the error message queue directly. So that's why when you see Power Platform, here's nothing. Then you can just go to traceability. Then click the failed transaction queue. Then you can see this failed transaction here. So you can select edit. Then here are two sections. So first is the raw data payload. And the second section error message, it gives us the message like tell us, okay, the tracing message event is not processed because the ship ID bad is not configured in the menu of data collection of traceability. So if you want to perform it, you need to configure this one. So you have two choices. So first is like you configure the missing data collection in data collection menu. Second is you can correct the payload. So here you can see that above the data, it's the payload. So we can find the ship ID bad. So we said, okay, so we should not use the underscore bad. So we just correct it to the right one, then click save. So once it's saved, then we can select it and post it again. So once you click the post, it will be inserted to the queue for validation, then reprocess. So this can help us to not missing any failed data. Okay, so that's all the demo I want to show to you. So next is the roadmap I will introduce. So for now, this is our current roadmap. So, but later also we might do some kind of regulation or change according to our priority. So first, in the latest one, we need to enhance our genealogy table view tree, table view to include the quantity consolidation. So this is also a requirement from one of our customer. And then we need to enable the customer to do the data collection mapping in F&O. So remember, previous I just showed you for the purchase and the sales, you also can see the customer information or vendor information, but that is predefined. And in your customization, if you said, I want to add a DT, TLC or shipment ID, for now it's not allowed. But once this function is introduced, you can do the mapping for any dimension in the original document and map to the target data collection field in traceability. So by that way, you don't need to do the customization way for the data collection mapping. It will give you a more flexible way. Then after that, we will do more integration with D365, like quality audit integration, purchase sales for return scenario, and intercompany integration. Then also we will consider design the historical data migration, because for some customer they said, okay, I want to also do can view the history data which before I onboard the traceability. So we also need to figure out how to do this historical migration. Then after that, we also will do the integration with inventory management and the inventory visibility, because this function service can give us the real-time handle quantity search and also integration with AWM and the TMS. And next is the results and the recommendation. So to better understand and use this traceability, here's some kind of resource we suggest you to use. So first is our help portal. So you can get it from this link, get some detail in the function instruction and also usage. Then second is if you have any kind of idea and a suggestion, you can raise it to our ideas portal. And considering the voting, and we will prioritize it, maybe also put it into our roadmap. And also the third is our Viva Yama group. So also you can post your question or suggestion here. So me and my team will be there and monitor your question and give you the response and the support quickly. But this is like an invitation. So you can send a mail to me and I can put add your email address to the member group. And also we have another form. You can fill that in, and also we will go through that and add your email to the community. The last resource is the how-to guide. So this will give you more detailed information than the help portal during the public preview period. And also you can get the latest version from the Yama group, the Viva Yama group previously. So I think that's all from my side. Then over to you, Jesper.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you everybody for joining, and I think I can't see the official chat, but I think Alejandra has posted a link for us there for a survey. If you would fill out that survey, we would highly appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for your interest in the product. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us for any additional questions.